Well, hello, my dear friends. Justyn Smith here, wanting to address some questions that many people have asked, and we've answered them, but maybe you've got the same questions. You've asked about our family or about our ministry. So if you're not concerned about our family and ministry, just go ahead and click off. It is totally fine. This is a very simple update video. The first question I've been getting is this: where are you at? This is not a filter, okay? This is not something from Zoom backgrounds, okay? This is Palmer, Alaska, Pioneer Peak in the Palmer, Alaska area, the Matanuska Valley. Beautiful day in the 60s. I mean, it is a scorcher up here in the 60s. At least I feel that way. I kind of tend to love the cold. And so there's still like a little bit of chill in the air if the wind blows and you're in the shade. But when you're in the sun, oh, it feels so nice. Okay, so that's where we're at. We're up here in Alaska. All right. Blessed to have been here. We had 7 events scheduled up here, including 2 teen camps. The problem has been my illness, and whatever I'm facing, I don't know if we want to call it an illness, which is really kind of unknown. Out of the 7, I've been able to fulfill 2. Now, I pause right there to say this: I am excited. Now, no means am I excited to have to cancel meetings. Canceling 5 out of 7 makes you feel like a failure. Now, I'm thankful for the pastors who have understood, thankful for how they've cared for us and how they've encouraged us. Okay, so this is where we are at. But I'm excited. I don't want anyone to think I'm downhearted over this, okay? I am looking forward to what is next. In fact, as I'll give you kind of a rundown of what's happened since I've been up here, I've just been looking forward with eager anticipation because you get one step closer to figuring something out. So I want to give you a few verses as to why I'm excited concerning ministry and personal things in my life, okay? And it goes to our schedule philosophy on our website. Number 1, the very first verse I have on there is 2 Chronicles 27:6. So Jotham became mighty because he prepared his ways before the Lord his God. We were prepared, ready to go in Alaska. You know, messages, excited to see everyone at the churches and the camps, prepared for a wonderful time. But that's not what God had for us this trip in many of the cases. The second verse on our ministry philosophy for our calendar, James 4:15. If the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. And then Proverbs 27:1, boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Now, whether it was COVID, 2020, maybe into 21, or whether it was our season here in 2025, our ministry calendar philosophy, practicing these biblical principles, has been part of our life. And so that's why I'm excited. God has had other plans. Now, regardless of why or what behind the scenes, either spiritually or physically, here's why I'm excited. God's got this. He's in control. If you received our recent email newsletter, the very title of it was, "To everything there is a season and a purpose under heaven." We're so excited for the everythings, but the everythings aren't always like, whoa, look at this, you know. They can be trying. And again, I say, there's been frustrating times, not being able to fulfill my responsibilities and opportunities. And it's an honor to be in the ministry, but yet you go through this valley of physical sickness and you can't get to stuff. That is bothersome, but I do know God has a plan in all of this, and I know that He makes all things beautiful in His time. So I trust Him, and I depend on Him. That leads me to another question that people have asked. Not just where are you right now? This is as of, let's see, June 11th, 2025, okay? Not only are you asking where are you, but what is going on? All right. November, remodeled the house all the way through the first part of February, moved back into it after renters were in it. And I was around a lot of mold, and we're assuming that it was the mold that triggered something. Now, there's going to be a reason why this could be very possible, as I'll mention here in just a second. But since I got around all of that activity, I'd have good days and bad days while remodeling, and then sometimes be able to fulfill our preaching responsibilities, sometimes not. And we just kind of chalked it up to mold. And the more we got around areas in the country, the more that we began to say, hey, wait a second, what is triggering this? I mean, the more is very obvious. If I get around like an old board game from the 80s and pull it out of a box, man, it just overwhelmed me. If I go into a musty, mildewy basement, it just overwhelmed me. And I've never had that issue before. So that's why we're kind of thinking it's mold related. We don't exactly know. But that brings you up here to our trip to Alaska. We went to our doctor while up here. Yes, our doctor is here in Alaska. Love our doctor, okay? And so he's helping us just get things in order. I got several blood tests done, ruling out this, ruling out that, still trying to figure things out. We had an MRI of the brain run, and when we had the MRI, there were several things in the head that was revealed. And the way that we look at it, and why I'm excited, is because now we have a door that is opened up, all right? A door opened up to say, you have an issue here. Let's get it taken care of. Now, thankfully, it's not like an emergency issue, but the sooner this gets addressed, the better. So there's 4 things that I'm looking toward that they found on that MRI. And so I'll address that here in just a second. So we talk about what's going on. Really, right now, the doctor is wanting me to rest as much as possible. Family members are wanting me to rest as much as possible. They have seen kind of on the forefront of the scene, they have understood my limitations. Now, they've also seen like, hey, I want to go out and do something. You know, I still love being able to work out, and I've had some great days to be able to do that. Been able to mow and rake hay recently, which I had missed doing for so long because I just didn't feel like it. And so just again, good days, bad days. All right. So we're getting some answers. We're stepping through some doors. We're walking through them. And so you might ask the question, what is next based on what's going on? So the MRI revealed that I have 4 things that need surgical attention. All right. The first thing is a bone spur that needs to be addressed on my left side. Then I have 2 turbinates, which if you take some time to look it up, they do have the idea of some things that are used to filter and help with allergies and things like that, but they're kind of like a soft tissue layered like ball, all right? Those 2 things need to be shaved off. Sometimes they're enlarged, and I guess mine must be, and we'll be finding out more. But we just know those 2 things have to be addressed. And then we have a deviated septum, which is like, you know, as some might say, like when your nose is crooked, you might be able to tell on this video, depending on which way I look, that my nose is just kind of like a little bit one way to the other, different. So not exactly straight. So it's just like, you know, but it's not like crooked like some are this way. But inside, man, if you look at the MRI, it's like, whoa, that's what's going on. And we found out, and as far as I've understood it, as long as I've lived, but we found out that this whole right side is just blocked completely, which makes a lot of sense. I've never really been able to blow my nose, things like that, not to get too detailed. But this 4th thing that needs addressed is the right maxillary cavity is packed full. And you say, like, what does all of this have to do with the rest of your body being healed? I don't exactly know. I have heard some wonderful stories from people who have had such removals and their cavities cleaned out. You know, lower back pain goes away. Even had one guy tell me that he went from having to have corrective lenses to better than 20/20. I mean, you just never know when you got something going on. It just even in the sinus cavity area. So this door has been opened. We're going to step through that. June 20th is a probable, highly probable cancellation date for someone else. I am on the schedule for that day in that time slot to be able to get surgery done. Why is it so important that this happens sooner than later? Because of the nature of this type of surgery, even though, I won't exactly be bedridden. I mean, who knows like how my body might react? I'll be able to gently walk and things like that, supposedly. But because of the sinus cavities, I won't be able to bend over, won't be able to work out, won't be able to fly for at least 2 weeks. And then depending on who you read after and who you talk to, recovery times are just a lot different across the board. And so we're praying for a good, quick recovery. If I can't get in on June 20th, then we have to go to the next date. We had highly considered coming back to Illinois. We had different ministry opportunities that were still on the board up here that we were hoping to fulfill. But just couldn't get a hold of anybody back home. Things were just moving so quickly and smoothly up here. If we were to go back home, we'd have to start the whole process over, finding doctors, getting it scheduled, and it would just push back like the schedule further where we were having to cancel like into late summer, maybe even early fall. And so we're just riding the current wave. And again, as I said earlier, I really am enjoying it. I'm excited to see what's on the future, whatever that may be. Seasons come and seasons go in ministry, in family, just trusting God for what is ahead. The next question that people ask is this: how is your finances? And I appreciate people asking us that, because I'm not just going to come out and say something about it, but we've had so many genuine concerns along the lines of finances that I wanted to address it on this video. And I say it like this: we have needs, but who doesn't? We have needs, and with that said, we have a wonderful provider who has been providing for our needs. And he has used many of you. He has used and continues to use our 44% monthly support level. He has used many separate one-time gifts recently, which have been just amazing and very thoughtful. Thank you again to all those who have been super sensitive to that. He has also used various churches that we have been with or were supposed to be with that we had to cancel, and they were so thoughtful to say, you know what, you guys don't get paid time off, no PTO, things like that. How you going to make it? Let's send you a love offering. We even had one church a couple months back who, a totally different story, long story short, they took up an offering from their missions budget that night, and then for the next 2 weeks, they gave just general offering, to the Smiths. And that was huge for us to be able to receive. And we are so blessed from the thoughtfulness of individuals and churches that have been helping us during this time. So again, you ask us, how are our finances? We have needs, but God is our great provider, and he constantly meets those needs. So we continue to rest in him. He knows what we have need of before we ask, just like you coming before God. Give, and it shall be given. So we continue to give, we continue to live for God, we continue to do what he wants us to do, and just leave the results in his hands. All that said, we want to close by saying thank you. We love you, and we appreciate you. We don't know when we're coming back. We don't know as far as when we get back home. We don't know what our first meeting is when our first meeting is going to be, what it's going to look like. Try to keep you updated as best as possible. Rachel is going to do her best to keep you updated on her personal Facebook page. The only social media I have right now is YouTube, so that's why this video is being shared, which will also go on our website page. And so, I feel like I'm rambling right now, but it's been a long time since I've brought a video to you like this. And I really do hope to get back to our Through the Bible messages. So many of you have reached out and said you've been so encouraged by those, and that really encourages me. So in the meantime, just know our family loves you and we greatly appreciate you. We do have, opportunity very soon for family pictures. Praying that I'm healthy and well for that. So I'm sure you'll be seeing some of those come across Facebook eventually. Lydia has graduated second grade. She's doing great. I mean, just a blast to be around. And our Alaska family up here, Rachel's side, they've been such an encouragement during this time. So what it looks like in the future, rest and recovery, especially after the surgery, just to make sure we can get back on our feet, get back to the work, and see that we can be just faithful, continued in the work that God has called us to. If God changes that, that's all up to him. We just trust him for the current season and for the current day. I don't even know if we're going to make it to the surgery, if I'm honest with you, but God's will be done. You could come back today. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to be welcomed. I'm excited for the opportunity to live for the Lord today, and I trust and pray that you are as well. All right. Enough rambling from me, coming to you from Palmer, Alaska. God bless you. You are absolutely loved by the Smith family. Thank you for Click and Play.